Hello and welcome. I am Gimba Umar. Tonight, suspected Boko Haram militants kill 5 people in a village in southeastern Niger Republic close to the border with Nigeria. Rotimi Akeredolu emerges the candidate of the All Progressives Congress for the November governorship elections in Ondo State. And candidates in the Edo State governorship elections slug it out in a televised debate, present their agenda to the electorate. And Mother Teresa, revered for her work with the poor in India, is proclaimed a saint by Pope Francis in a ceremony at the Vatican. We begin tonight with the war on terror in Nigeria's northeast and beyond the northern border to Niger Republic, where suspected Boko Haram militants have killed 5 people in a village in southeast of the country close to the border with Nigeria. The insurgents are reported to have ridden into the village on camels at night and opened fire. However, the attacks was repelled by civilian militia in the community of Tumor, 75 kilometers from the regional capital Diffa. The attackers also burned houses and left several other people wounded. Diffa region has been targeted several times by insurgents who usually come on foot or in vehicles. Most of the terrorists previously seized by the terrorists in the northeastern part of Nigeria have been liberated by the Nigerian military, supported by troops from Niger and Chad. Meanwhile, the Department of State Services, the DSS, has arrested 2 high-profile members of the Boko Haram sect in Kano State. Those arrested have been identified as Ibrahim Abubakar and Idris Audu. Spokesperson for the DSS, Tony Opuyo, says that the 2 suspects were apprehended in response to the regrouping of the sect members in Kano. The suspects, who are specialists in developing improvised explosive devices, are alleged to be seeking recruitment into the Nigerian army as part of efforts to penetrate the nation's security apparatus. On the economic front, the DSS says that it is intensifying action against some suspected fraudsters whose activities are negatively affecting investors' confidence, with multiplier risks to genuine business nationwide. Mr. Opuyo calls on Nigerians to support ongoing efforts by providing useful information to security agencies. Long periods of awaiting trials and prison congestions have been identified as the major causes of the spate of jailbreaks in some parts of the country. This was the explanation offered by the Comptroller of Prisons in Benue State, Mr. Peter Pevigo, when the State Deputy Governor, Mr. Benson Abuno, visited the Makurdi medium security prison. Mr. Pevigo told Channels Television that the prison service is collaborating with the Benue State Joint Security Committee towards increasing surveillance at the facility.
The jailbreaks are occasioned by the overcongestion in prisons and overstay of prisoners. Most of them, I tell you, have been here upwards of 13 years. The least that has stayed here is about 6 months. So when this happens, most of them become very angry with the system because they expect that justice should be dispensed quickly so that they will know their faith and go out of this place and live their meaningful lives elsewhere. We have taken measures, proactive measures, so to say, by reaching out to other sister paramilitary and paramilitary institutions to come to our aid. Our armed squad men have been stationed around the place and have been directed to be on the red alert. And the police have sent in their mobile policemen to assist us. The civil defense men are on ground, and the soldiers from the 72 battalion are also here.
As part of efforts to improve the lives of youths and women in the country, the federal government has announced plans to establish a National Women Empowerment Fund and a government enterprise and empowerment program. The Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development, Aisha Al-Hassan, made this known at the conclusion of a skills acquisition program in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital.
Widows and some other dependents of troops who lost their lives in the ongoing war against insurgents in northeast Nigeria at the graduation ceremony of the Nafowa Vocational and Skill Acquisition Program in Maiduguri, Borno State.
The people of Borno State.
The Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development used the occasion to announce government's plan to establish social protection programs.
The federal government under President Muhammadu Buhari is committed to making the lives of all Nigerians especially women and the youth, better. That commitment is demonstrated through the federal government social protection programs of Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program, known as GIP, and the National Women Empowerment Fund, known as NAWEF, which will soon be launched. The two programs are microfinance schemes available to women and the youth at 0% interest.
The Chief of Air Staff called on women and youths to be constructively engaged in order to promote peace and stability.
Empowering youths, people through skills development strengthens their capacity to help address the many challenges facing the Northeast, especially Borno State. It is therefore only appropriate for us in the military to identify with such lofty initiatives, which fits perfectly into our strategy for winning hearts and minds, with the ultimate objective of promoting enduring peace, unity, and stability.
The Minister of Women Affairs presented certificates to the graduates. The NAFOA Skills Acquisition and Vocational Training Program was initiated by the National President of NAFOA, Mrs. Hafsat Abubakar, with the aim of assisting widows and youths who lost their breadwinners to insurgents in the Northeast.
A former president of the Nigeria Bar Association, Mr. Rotimi Akeredolu, has emerged as the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC in Ondo State. The chairman, primary election committee of the party, and governor of Jigawa State, Muhammad Badaru Abubakar, announced Mr. Akeredolu was the winner of the polls, which held amidst tight security in Akure, the state capital.
For 5 hours, delegates for the Ondo APC governorship primary gather for accreditation at the three centers: Ijapo Housing Cooperative Center, that's for those from Ondo North; Arcade Center for Ondo Central; and then those from Ondo South gather at an event center on Ondo Road. In all, 2,774 are accredited. And then the next stage of the process, the voting exercise. Though it takes a long time, it's orderly and peaceful. It's a keenly contested election among four major aspirants. A businessman, Olusegun Abraham, who came second with 635 votes. Olushola Oke, the PDP candidate in the 2012 governorship election, got 576 votes, while Robert Borophis, the senator representing Ondo North District, polled 471 votes. And then former NBA President Mr. Rotimi Akeredolu.
The result of the election as follows. Total number of people accredited, 2,774. Vote cast, 2,754. And the result is as follows. Abayomi Tunji, 5 votes. Abraham Michael Olusegun, 635 votes. Adefemi Oluso Moyiwa, 13 votes. Adetula Alubokula, 8. Akere Dolu Oluomi Rotimi, 4. I hereby declare Akere Dulu Olua Rotimi O San the winner of this primary election.
For the winner, it's time for all aspirants to join him in building a formidable party that will produce the next governor of the state.
We are about to work together. This party belongs to all of us, and there's no victor, there's no vanquish. It's not an issue of victory. The victory we have today is for all of us, and all of us want to give the glory to God. And we thank God for what He has done, and we have pledged, we have spoken among ourselves to work together.
Other aspirants also speak on the outcome of the primary.
In this state, we don't want any imposition, and God has vindicated my stand that we should have independence in Ondo State.
Candidate show emergence is free and fair, and the formal processes, and that is commendable.
Now that the primary is over, the stage is now set for the governorship election taking place on November the 26th, where the APC has the ruling party in the state, which is the PDP, among other political parties to contend with.
Candidates of 4 political parties contesting the 2016 Edo State governorship elections this evening took part in a debate organized by Channels Television in collaboration with Enough is Enough Nigeria. The candidates, Mr. Godwin Obaseki of the APC, Osaro Naiwo of APGA, Amos Arelogbe of the Labour Party and Osage Iziamu of the PDP took turns to answer questions from a group of panelists. The 4 candidates answered questions bordering on security, economic growth and how to tackle unemployment, amongst others.
The current recession offers Nigeria a huge opportunity to turn its fortunes and the future around. We spend almost $15 billion a year importing food and food items. This is what we can cultivate internally in Nigeria. We spend about $500 million a year importing fish and chicken. That Edo can produce. And what you need is somebody who has the experience, who understands how to pull resources together, the capital, the manpower, and the planning, so that investors can be attracted to the state and make the required investments. Government's responsibility is to create the enabling environment, and the government that is not accountable, that is corrupt, cannot attract high-quality investments.
We first of all have to identify why we are in the problem. Okay? The 2 political parties that have governed us put us in this mess. PDP and APC. They owe Nigeria, they owe Edo people on reserve apology, which is key to me. Now you talk about Bendel Bridge, you talk about that. What we need to do is to bring capable investors. Government doesn't have that money anymore. The economy is going down. You need investors to come and invest in those industries that have collapsed. That is key to us. Thank you.
Mr. Arelugwe, thank you very much. We in the Labour Party believe that we can do it together. It's not going to be because that is what is killing the government. I. But when we carry the people along, we partner with them. The people, we see it as their own also businesses, then they will have the interest to protect it. And we in the Labour Party believe when we encourage farming, we're going to make it interesting that even our young ones can even try to verge into it. And we also make sure we are going to encourage inventors and innovators. By so doing, we create more employment, and by also making sure that the unemployed youth are taken out of the streets.
I'd like the same question to go to Pastor Izayamu. We'll come to the Labour Party.
Yeah, thank you. Well, the truth about those industries is that they certainly can be revived. Bendel Brewery, for example, that was the brewery that funded the free education policy of Professor Ambrosali. Unfortunately, this government has abandoned it completely. It will interest you to note that when we came in, we found out that that industry, that brewery, was sold to church gates. But when we looked at the terms, we found out that they should charge the state, and forcefully we had to retrieve it. And during the period when that brewery was running, that brewery was giving the Edo State government 25 million monthly. But in the past 7.5 years, no attention has been made to revive that place. You don't even need to spend government money. There are a lot of brewers in Germany, in Europe, who will gladly come.
In part 2, after the break, a look at the impact of the economic downturn on prices of major goods across the country. We'll be joined by our in-house data statistician, Babajide Ogunsol.